beautiful, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where we are gonna rank all of these different brands that do a bunch of really weird, funny, different collabs in a tier list. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on them. You can give me your thoughts on them down in the comments. We're just gonna have some fun. This is all fun and games. This is not a serious video, but if you're interested in more makeup videos on our timeline, don't forget to subscribe because I upload several videos a week all about makeup and beauty and just having fun, playing with color. So if you're interested, don't forget to tag along because like I said, several videos every week. I did try to film this look right here, but I realized after the video that I did not have my microphone on. And listen, if there's one thing I hate, it is refilming. Me looking right now to make sure the microphone is on. I hate refilming. I probably have scrapped around 5 to 8 videos on my channel throughout me being on YouTube that just for one reason or another did not end up good due to technical difficulties, and I've never refilmed them. I do not refilm, but just know I did use the Glamlight and Michaela palette version 1. That's what I used on my face. I like the palette. The shimmers are better than the mattes. I cannot wait for round 2. That's what I'm gonna say about that. No, I didn't film the look. No, I'm not gonna refilm the look. It is what it is. But we are gonna dive into this video. I think I'm gonna have to move to the side. Let me see if I can pull up the picture. I do have a tier list. In this tier list, wait, let me scoochie. Let me scoochie and let me put up the tier list right here. In this tier list, I have done a couple of videos like this before. I think 2. I will link those down below in case you want to see me do more of these tier list videos because I do have 2 more videos on this theme. I think it's 2. Fairly sure it's 2. And in this tier list, I did 5 different tiers. I know before I did 6, but this one has 5. So this is basically the whole figure where I'm going to be putting the brands that I feel are doing collabs. Doing them good, doing them bad, maybe dipping their toes in them, maybe that's all they do. So I'm gonna explain the different tiers. The first one is nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits, and I specifically had a brand in mind when I was doing this tier because nothing is off limits. They'll do a collab with anything. Anything. They'll do a collab with anything. That's what this tier is. And the second tier is they can't even get this right, which is basically reserved for brands that even though they have a fun collab, even though they have a fun franchise, they can't seem to get it right. The next one is the one trick pony. They do collabs, but they tend to all be fairly similar. And it tends to be the thing that the brands does. They do collabs, they do similar kind of collabs, and I also did have a specific brand in mind when I put this tier up, and we'll talk about that when we get there. The next one is the one where I feel quite a few brands will be positioned within, and that is that it's not the star of the show. They do collabs, they do them good, but at the end of the day, it's not the star of the show. It's not the bread and butter of the brand. They also do other products equally as good that are just as popular, and the brand might not even be like known for the collabs. It's something fun that happens, people like it, but it's not the thing that keeps the brand going. It's not the main thing that gets the consumers in. And the next one is they tried a collab, they tried a couple of collabs, but it just, maybe it's not their thing. Maybe it's not their thing. Maybe they paid a lot of money for a franchise and maybe they shouldn't have. Let's jump in. I have a couple of brands here. If you think that there's a brand that I'm missing, do let me know down in the comments. I am gonna do these in order of like alphabetically because I have them in an alphabetical order here. So we're just gonna put them in. First one being Collab. I'm gonna put Collab in. It's not the star of the show. They do collabs, they do them good, they sell good, but at the end of the day, it is not the only thing that Collab does. It's not the only thing that Collab is doing good. They do other things good as well. They do other collections that are equally cute and equally good quality. And at the end of the day, yes, they do a lot of collabs, but they also do a lot of other stuff that is, like I said, equally cute and equally good quality. I think that Collab is one of those brands that if you only see it in store, like if you only see it at like Ulta, for example, if you see the things at Ulta, you might not realize exactly how many collabs they have because that is not what you see when you go into Ulta, for example. That is not what the gondola at Ulta is reflecting. It's a lot of their tried and true staple products. Next one is e.l.f. and I'm gonna put them in the same category even though technically we could put them in the nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits. They did the Chipotle collection, and they also did the one with Dunkin' this year. And it seems like when they do a collab, they really do it with an unexpected partner, let's say. Who thought that we were gonna see taco-inspired makeup? Listen, not me. Not me. I didn't have that on my bingo card, but I feel like when they do it right, but it's definitely not what they're known for. It is not what e.l.f. is known for. If you check a display at e.l.f., if you check their website, they have a bunch of other cute collection. They release a lot of staple products, and it's, at the end of the day, it is a fun add to their collection, but it's not what they're known for. It's not their bread and butter, and I don't think even that it's the product that's selling the best. Maybe at the moment, like they sell it, they sell out, and usually it doesn't come back. But I think they have a bunch of other products that people know them more for. Next one is Glamlight. And Glamlight is a little bit tricky for me because for one part, I want to say that it is like, it is what they're known for. Maybe I should have had a category for that, like it's what they're known for. They are at the point right now doing a lot of collabs. But what I think and what I have gathered from like reading the stories of the owner, Giselle, she has an Instagram and she's posting a lot about like her thoughts and feelings about the collabs that she's doing. Glamlight is a food themed makeup brand. That is what they do. They did start with the pizza and the burger palette. They were doing some other things before, but since the hype that was around the pizza and the burger palette, they pretty much decided this is a food themed makeup brand. It's basically what they do, and food in of itself isn't like a collab thing, but they have collabed with Frosted Flakes, with Hershey, with the one that I didn't try, the drink Ices, that's the one. I didn't try that one, and she has hinted too that there is a lot of like other things coming in the future as well, and I think that she is mainly just playing catch up with all of her favorite brands right now because they have seen her vision on what she can do with other brands. So I think I'm gonna put this in the one trick pony right now, even though it doesn't really fit. Should I put it in nothing's off limits? Not in a weird way, but like they did a cereal collab, the Icy collab, the Hershey. I'm kind of like, what's gonna be the next thing? I feel like when it comes to food themed like collections, I do feel like nothing is off limits, and I would not be surprised to see something with a more unexpected thing, McDonald's, or maybe, I don't know, something like wings. And I do feel at that point, nothing is off limits. As long as it's food themed, I do feel like Glamlight could probably make something out of it. Maybe I'll put him in that one. I'll put it in nothing's off limits, but I don't mean that necessarily in a negative way, because I do feel like once they release something, it's usually really good quality, and they usually have thought about everything. Packaging, theming, colors, names, like all of it, the whole shebang. They have really thought through the concept in a way that I don't feel like all brands do when it comes to these collabs. Next one is Hip Dot. I created the Nothing is Off Limits tier for them. Nothing is off limits. Girl Scout cookies, absolutely. Hot sauce, you got it. Everything is up for grabs. Anything can happen. I'm telling you, we are gonna see a Hip Dot and Elmer glue coming. Board games, sure. Rugrats, absolutely. Noodles, why not? The range that they have going from Rugrats to Noodles to Girl Scout cookies, the range is incredible. And like I said, nothing is off limits. They have truly shown that nothing is sacred. Nothing is off limits. I still have not tried the brand, but I feel at this point, like, collabs is all they do. This is a collab brand. This is truly a collab brand. I have not seen them release a single item since their very, very first release, which was a couple of years ago, which was those like nice palettes with the geode, like stone marble front packaging thingamajiggy. Since then, I cannot remember a single item that they released that have not been a collab item. At least not the last year and a half. Nothing has been a non-collab item. So for that reason, this is truly a collab brand, and I have not seen a single thing not be a collab. But on the other hand, it seems to work for them, and yeah, nothing is off limits. I'm telling you. Hip Dot Elmer's glue, coming soon. Next one is Kylie Cosmetics, and this is the brand that I created. You tried for. She tried. Listen, she does a couple of collabs, but even though she does collabs, she'll do collabs with, was it Terror on Elm Street, the Freddy Krueger thing? Was that? Is it Jason? Listen, she did one with one of those horror movies. She did one with the Grinch, but she still cannot help it to put herself in the marketing. It is not about the Grinch. It is not about the horror movie. It is about her doing cosplay in this character. She cannot help herself, but that also shows that at the end of the day, she sells more products than these franchises do. I don't understand why she's doing these collab things. Although I will say that on the packaging of the Grinch, I think she did have the Grinch, but in the promo picture, she did have herself in some kind of a furry thing. And I'm not hating it. Listen, if it works, if it sells, you do you. But when it comes to collabs, maybe she hasn't 100% nailed it. I mean, you tried. Next one is an OG giant, and this is MAC. MAC has done a couple of collabs lately that maybe has not been the best. Maybe has not been the best. Couple of things have been really good. Couple of things have not been that great. This used to be the collab OG brand. Like they did the Disney villains and Marilyn Monroe and so many different collabs that when you tell this to someone that's been in this community since before the booty guru like era, they get something like, you know, they get a bit of like dampness in their eyes. They shed a tear over the nostalgia factor of it all. This is the OG brand when it comes to collabs. But they did fall off a little bit these past years. I mean, collabs came back, collabs with franchises, and this could have been MAC's time to shine, really. Instead, they released that Cruella de Vil collab, which was questionable to say the least, and I want to put them in the You Tried, but like they're so iconic. They did do the Stranger Things collab, and I feel like they did do that one really good. So I am instead gonna put them in the category of it's not the star of the show, because I don't think that collabs it was really driving MAC's success at this point. Back in the days, people were sitting at their computer waiting for midnight to strike so that they can get a hold of this coveted item for any of the collabs that MAC had. They are no longer the reigning king of collabs. They have been dethroned, and I don't know what they're trying to do to make them better now that we're in a time where collabs is super huge. The Stranger Things was really good. The Cruella de Vil, not so much. We had to do Makeup Revolution. I am gonna put Makeup Revolution and all of their underbrands in the same thing, because Makeup Revolution has Makeup Revolution, they have the I Heart Revolution, they have the XX Revolution, and all of these brands have done collabs with anything from cereal to Batman to Disney princesses. Like, listen, they have a range, but they also have a bunch of brands that they can like put these on. I feel like most people are agreeing that the best collab they've ever had is the Simpsons collab, that those were really good quality products. I think one of the biggest problems with Makeup Revolution, and this is definitely going in the category of they can't even get this right. They have collabs with really well-known and loved franchises like DC Comics or Disney Princesses or Simpsons or stuff that people really, really love. But at the end of the day, it is a little bit of a gamble when you buy from Makeup Revolution, because you never know if the packaging is gonna look like Claire's makeup or if it's gonna look actually cute. You never know if there's actually gonna be good quality makeup, like I've heard some of the things from the Simpson collab have been, or if it's gonna be like, again, like Claire's makeup. Like, you don't know what you're getting, and it's always a little bit of gamble, according to me, and according to some people. If you don't agree, that's perfectly fine. Buying stuff from Makeup Revolution brands, because sometimes, yes, it's only $3, but you're definitely getting makeup that looks, feels, and acts like $3 makeup, and then what's the point? $3, that's still, you could have got something else with that. I was gonna say you can get a coffee, but not in US. Woo, your coffee is expensive. In Sweden, you can get a coffee. You can get an ice cream. Like, you can do something else than to buy a mediocre makeup product that they had all the chances in the world to make an incredible collection with the franchise that they probably paid a lot of money to have, but they just, you know, they stumbled on the finish line and just usually releases stuff that just looks not 100% polished, finished, perfected. I mean, we all remember the Powerpuff Girls palette. That will give you nightmares. Then we have Morphe. I feel like Morphe gets it right sometimes. My friend Karen Harris tried the original, or was it the Sherry Coke palette? They've done a couple of collabs. Everyone's doing cereal collabs right now. Listen, it's a thing. It's a thing. Everyone's doing cereal collabs. They did some Coke collabs. My friend Karen Harris tried the Sherry Coke palette and said it was really good quality. They're also still doing collabs with influencers, but I feel like at the end of the day, I don't think that collabs is the backbone of Morphe. I think it's just another way to get some extra points, getting some people to have a look at the brand that might not have seen them before, through Coca-Cola, through, I think it was Lucky Charms, through some of these brands. I'm gonna put them in. It's not the star of the show, even though I don't necessarily love some of the products that I've tried from Morphe. I do think that some things are really good, and at the end of the day, I don't think that any of these collabs, especially the franchise collabs with like cereal and drinks and whatever, don't think that that is the thing that drives the most sales at Morphe. I'm gonna quickly go through Pat McGrath. I added Pat McGrath because she has done 2 different collabs. She's done it with Bridgerton and she's done it with Star Wars. I was not able to get a hold of the Star Wars, so oh my god, that release was a joke. And I will say the Bridgerton release was not a lot better because it took her over a month to get the items to you. But I will say the quality was good of the products that I tried from the Bridgerton collab. I am not a person that is blown away by the color story of the collab, but I still think the quality was really good, especially the cheek products were really, really, really beautiful. And I think that like she's bringing her normal quality. If you love Pat McGrath, you're probably gonna love the collab things that she does. And she does a bunch of different collabs that make sense for her. I mean, she did with Bridgerton. If you didn't know, Pat McGrath has been, what do you call it? I think you call it knighted, like she's Dame Pat McGrath in the UK. So it makes sense that she would do a collab about Bridgerton if you know anything about Bridgerton. I'm fairly sure as well that she has been a working makeup artist on some Star Wars movies, and that is one of the reasons why she was able to do that collab. So her collabs make sense. They look polished, they look nice. If we don't count that blush palette box thingamajig, we don't count that. It looks nice, it looks polished, it's what to be expected from the brand, but I don't think that it's the star of the show, but I do think a lot of people maybe experienced Pat McGrath as a brand for the first time through this collabs. And that could be a good thing too. So I am gonna put them in the it's not the star of the show. I still think that things are good. I'm not disappointed by buying the Bridgerton things, even though they might not be 100% exactly my makeup taste. I put Physicians Formula on this list just because I saw this Breakfast Club collab that they just recently announced, and I have to put it in the You Tried. Can you imagine the amount of money that they pay to have this franchise only to put it on these mediocre items that looks exactly like anything that Physicians Formula would release normally? It just happens to have some cartoon pictures from Breakfast Club. Like, why would you do that? No one's gonna go hunting for these products. They look mediocre. Yeah, You Tried. Listen, give you that. You tried to get in the game. You tried to play with the big boys. With this collab, you really did not have to pay the money to put Breakfast Club on it. It's just looks kinda... Did you really think that we were gonna do this video without mentioning Spectrum? Spectrum is definitely the one-trick pony in this group. This is, I made this category for Spectrum. They basically only do collabs. At this point, they basically only do Disney collabs. I mean, did they get acquired by Disney? Is this a Disney brand? I don't know. And they always do brushes. They always do brushes and they always do Disney. And yes, they are cute, but at this point, like, what's going on? Like, is this what you do? Are you a Disney brush company at this point? Like, am I missing all of their other releases? I mean, they must be doing good. This is very giftable. This is very giftable, but at some point, didn't we all gift someone? Maybe I'm confused, but because, like, honestly, I haven't bought any of these. Maybe I'm just waiting for the... Listen, they do a Darkwing Duck brush set. I'm buying it. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe they'll go through all of the different Disney characters and at some point everyone has bought their favorite. I don't know. Let me know, what do you think about Spectrum? Am I the only one that's a little bit confused by this brand? They're definitely the one trick pony. I made this category for them. Last on the list is Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild do a lot of fun collabs. They did the Care Bears and the Little Twin Stars, and now they did the Lilo and Stitch, or I think it was only Stitch. I'm not 100% sure what was going on. I wasn't included in the discussion, but I don't think it's the star of the show. I don't think that it's what they're known for, so I'm gonna put them in the category that it's not the star of the show, because at the end of the day, I don't necessarily think that this is what Wet n Wild sells the most of. I feel like Wet n Wild, Morphe, Colourpop, and Makeup Revolution, they're basically in the same category. Makeup Revolution and Colourpop releasing more collabs than the other two. They're just fairly affordable brands. They're releasing stuff in a fairly rapid rate. No one can keep up with Makeup Revolution, and Colourpop is just right behind them. But it's not the only thing that they're releasing, and I feel like a lot of people are probably really thankful that these fun collabs, maybe with some things that they really love, franchises that they're really in love with, are released at a somewhat fair price point. Because if you really loved Lilo and Stitch, buying the eyeshadow palette, for example, it's not a super big investment as it would be buying the Bridgerton collab, for example, from Pat McGrath. So I do really like that it's like fairly affordable, at least if it's something that you're like, oh my god, I would really love to own something from the Lilo and Stitch collection. Personally, I'm not 100% sold on the Wet n Wild quality of some things that I've tried from the brand. Not bad, but I prefer other things over it, but it's also more affordable than the other things. So I think it's a little bit like give and take, and I have seen some people saying that Wet n Wild is their absolute favorite brand at the drugstore. So I think it's just, when it comes to makeup, sometimes it's not that a product is bad. We might just have different preferences when it comes to what we want it to feel like when we're applying it, how we want it to like look like. Do we want it to be opaque? Do we want it to be sheer? Do we want glitter? Do we want metallic? And also like how long it wears on our skin is so different depending on what kind of skin we have and where in the world, like what climate we're living in. But at the end of the day, I do think that it's really fun that some of these brands are releasing a lot of collabs, although I will say that both Colourpop and Makeup Revolution are tethering on the border on how many collabs are too many collabs. How many collabs are too many collabs? Because if there are too many, then nothing becomes special. Like, we already forgot about the Avatar: The Last Airbender collab. Like, that was a really nice collab. But there've just been so many things that have happened since then. Like, how are we supposed to remember all of these? Or the Simpsons Summer of Love collection that Makeup Revolution had. Like, who remembers that at this point? I barely do myself. Like, I'm not even sure if that was the name of the collab. And like, all these cereal, the Frosted Flakes and the Lucky Charms and the Pebbles? The Flintstone cereal that was like last year. All these things, they come and go, and at a certain point, nothing becomes special because we know there's something new around the corner. And yeah, let me know what you think. What is your favorite like collab so far that you have seen? I'm still waiting for the perfect collab, I think. Let me think so far. What has been my favorite? I mean, quality-wise, quality-wise, I think that Colourpop has done some really banger ones. The Star Wars, the Child palette, the Tinkerbell palette, the Avatar: The Last Airbender. They've done some really, really good collabs. I really like the Cheek palette from the Pat McGrath and Bridgerton. That was a really, really, really nice one. I'm not 100% sure what kind of collabs I've gotten. I really thought the Winnie the Pooh collection was like really cute as well. Oh, my dog is waking up. Let me know which one has been your favorite one, and what is your dream collab? Like, what is the one thing that you're waiting for, and you know that once that releases, it doesn't even matter what brand it is, you're gonna try to get at least one thing. For me, it's definitely Disney's Darkwing Duck, and if they do a video game that I play, like League of Legends, World of Warcraft, Diablo, like if they, StarCraft, like if they do any of the, even the games that I used to love, like that I used to love when I was a kid, there's nothing holding me back. I'm definitely getting it. I don't even care if it's Makeup Revolution. This bitch is buying all of it. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you soon again for a new video. Bye!